for our acts. The sea can be deep for our diving. Hope comes and stops us in our tracks. Bravely we prove in our striving, trudging together each day. Where there's a will, there's a way.
Good morning. Happy Sober Sunday. Give me a second. I got to close the door here. Got the grandchildren over, and they're loud enough that it might actually get to the microphone. Happy Sunday to you. Happy Sunday to me too. You know. Oh. Sunday, so don't expect too awfully much out of me today. Got some life situations I'm working with today, so that's kind of going to take priority. Yeah. It's family stuff. Yeah. All right, let's do some introductions, kind of get started. I don't have too much. I don't have anything to start us out with. So welcome to Daily Trudge. My name's Dion. I hope you're having a great day. If you're here, please say hello. Whether you're watching live or the rewatch, looks like my computer needs to be restarted. I started to get a little sluggish. Got to give it a little rest. Little respite. Right? So, good morning, Michelle, or good afternoon to you. This afternoon where you're at. So, we're going to start at the top of page 83 today. And we're going to go ahead and get started right after I have a little bit of talking juice here. So the problem is I don't always remember, but I always listen to 3 songs before I come on here. I was thinking just about announcing which ones I sang today. It was Styx, Babe, Styx, Best of Times. What was the one before that? There was one before that. I did 4 of them, and it ended with Billy Joel's Honesty. Those are good fluctuating songs to kind of get my voice warmed up. So, yeah. That's why I do it. That and I enjoy music, and, you know, so, yeah. Michelle says, is there a daily read? Nope. I used to read it every day, but now I just do it. So after a while, and it depends on who you are. It really does. If it's part of your routine, don't get rid of it. All right. Yes, there's a long period of reconstruction ahead. We must take the lead. A remorseful mumbling that we are sorry won't fill the bill at all. You know what sorry means to an alcoholic? It means I plan on doing it again. That's what sorry means, coming from an alcoholic. See, this whole I'm sorry, it isn't going to cut it anymore. We're like the little boy that cried wolf. We've cried wolf too many times, and now it's come back to bite us in the butt. Okay? So you're going to need to change. You're going to need to keep your darn mouth shut, and you're going to need to change. Right? We ought to sit down with the family and frankly analyze the past as we now see it, being very careful not to criticize them. Their defects may be glaring, but the chances are that our own actions are partly responsible. You know, if we're sitting down with the family and we got kids, oh, it was your fault. It was, let's just call it. Right? When your kids are 4 or 5 years old, I'm sorry, but you can't, oh, their defects are glaring. Come on. Okay, until they're teenagers, there's a part where they're innocents. They're innocent. They're still learning, right? So if we have plenty of time to point the finger out, well, gee, we got plenty of time to take a look at ourselves, and looks like we got time on our hands. Another Stick songs. I got too much time on my hands, and it's taking away from my sanity. That's the next line. Yeah. If you're so busy pointing the finger at other people, oh man, you got plenty of time to work on yourself. Yeah. That includes me. Every now and again, I see myself pointing the finger, and you know what else I see? I see three more fingers pointing back at me. Well, gee, they're one to my three. That doesn't really even out, does it? Morning, Amber. Hello, hello. I wasn't there, but good job. I'm glad that you really enjoyed yourself at night owls last night. Good job. Just wasn't awake enough to type that out. I kind of have to reserve my energy till I do this. Right? But so we clean house with family, asking each morning in meditation that our Creator show us the way of patience, tolerance, kindliness, and love. There's one good reason why we should read this every day, to remind us of what we're asking God for, to show us the way of patience, tolerance, kindliness, and love. Now, ask to show the way. Don't pray for patience. Or God's going to put somebody in your life that you're going to need a lot of patience for. It's got a sense of humor. At least my higher power does. You want to make God laugh? Yeah, tell him your plans. It's just a running joke to keep us in line, right? So, yeah. And if your family doesn't want to join in on your prayer, mine doesn't. But they see me living a spiritual life, and they've been following suit. Are they praying? I don't know. I don't know. I haven't asked, but the answer probably going to be no. Who knows? Right? It has to start with me. You know, now I'm the grandpa in this situation, so I'm head of house. What grandpa says kind of goes, unless grandma overrides, which is absolutely plausible for me. Right? So, when my grandkids show up, they come running from the car, Grandpa, and they're always going to do that. I'm a cool grandpa, man. Even at 9 o'clock at night, I'll still give them a little something, something. Just kidding. It was 8:30. The spiritual life is not a theory. We have to live it. Unless one's family expresses a desire to live upon spiritual principles, we think we not urge them. We should not talk incessantly to them about spiritual matters. They will change in time. Our behavior will convince them more than our words. We must remember that 10 or 20 years of drunkenness would make a skeptic out of anyone. Right? And weren't we just kind of saying what sorry means? Yeah. See, even when we were drinking, they weren't sure they were, because words can hurt, right? But they were watching what we did, and they will repeat it because it's what they know. It's like when I was a sales trainer, right? Let's say we hired somebody from the competition. I now have double the work because I'm going to have to untrain them first. It's much better to have a person with a clean slate that knows nothing about it. But then here we have a situation of power or control. See, they're only going to say or do what it is that I tell them because I am the trainer. So I tell them everything. I do. I never hid anything. And I was in merchant services. Probably why I failed at it, because I wouldn't be Even when I was drinking, I couldn't rip people off, man. I sold credit card machines and the credit card processing for a while. All right. And my mantra was this: I'm not going to go to Safeway, see one of my merchants and hide in aisle 2 because I did them wrong. No. In fact, once I helped out this one merchant. They had a shirt shop, and they were just a small mom and pop place. Now, people were leasing these machines, selling them for outrageous prices. I sold it to them for $50. I made $5 off of that credit card machine. Made a little bit of money off the credit card processing. I don't know that they made it. I don't think that they did, but they were a nice couple, and I wanted to help them out. Then I went to a Billy Joel concert, and guess who was my concierge? And I ended up with really good seats. That's a great example. You treat people right, it will come back around to you. Even while I was drinking, it happened that way, right? There may be some wrongs we can never fully right. We don't worry about them if we can honestly say to ourselves that we would right them if we could. Some people cannot be seen. We send them an honest letter, and there may be valid reason for postponement in some cases, but we don't delay if it can be avoided. We should be sensible, tactful, considerate, and humble without being servile or scraping. And here's my favorite line: as God's people, we stand on our own feet. We don't crawl before anyone. Why did I like that line so much? Because it gave me confidence. It gave me some self-esteem that I didn't have before. The reason that I have better self-esteem is because of God. I feel safe and protected by Him. I do. I get to live in a lot of serenity because I have given my entire life over to God. Even I've done it like 15 times today. I've got something personal going on, and I've had to turn it over a lot today. That's okay. That's all right. So today I'm showing Dion a little bit more patience, tolerance, kindliness, and love. See, sometimes I have to give it to myself and be patient with myself. Not only that, but Sundays I'm usually grumpy anyway. But I was grumpy yesterday. Can't have 2 days, so I'm not going to be grumpy today. Fuck it. Fuck it, I'll be in a good mood. Only an alcoholic can say it that way. Fuck it, I'm happy. All right? The spiritual life, I have to live it. And that means showing patience, tolerance, kindliness, and love to everyone, to all of God's children. Guess what? I am one of God's children. And if I treat myself that way, then I automatically treat other people that way. Oh. Right? If I am treating myself like crap, I in turn will treat other people like crap. Hurt people. Can't be helped. Right? Not always. You do get to a point where maybe you're hurting, but you're not taking it out on other people. Good on you, man. Good on you. Take responsibility for your feelings and your triggers. Good job. That's hefty stuff right there, man. That is big stuff. Hefty. Right? All right, now we're going to get into the 9th step promises. Been a while since I covered 9th and 10th step promises. I don't usually cover them because they're personal to you. These are experiences that we've had. But let's do it and see what happens. If we are painstaking about this phase of our development, that means leaving nothing out. Again, here's that all or nothing proposition being presented to us. We're either going to do it or we're not. And half measures aren't going to get you anything. Half-heartedly doing the program. Now, what does that mean? That means you do it the best that you can each day. Some days you will have 100%. Some days you will have 20%. But you're still giving 100% of your best for that day. That is all that's asked. And I'm sorry, but it's not that much. Considering everything. Take a look back at managing your alcoholism. You had to put a lot more fucking work into that than you did this. All right. So painstaking and thorough. It's got to be thorough. We got to try and remember everything. I'm going to tell you, don't feel bad if you don't remember everything. We have what's called the 10th step to clear those ones up. You're not going to be perfect, but what you are going to do is do the best that you can. So 80% is okay. 80% is okay. I'd like to remind you of your upcoming appointment. Why do they send that shit on Sundays? I'm getting so tired of Dion, yes, you just did a transfer your bank account at Canvas Credit Union. How was your experience? How would you rate your experience? I'm just waiting for toilet paper to be okay. You're done pooping. How did you enjoy your Charmin experience? How many stars would you give this toilet paper? It's gonna happen. Not everything needs to be rated, my friends. People are gonna have such low self-esteem in the next 10 years because we're based on rating. People are like so protective of their Uber rating. Oh, they gave me 1 star. I gotta go down. Means you're gonna make less money. That is based off the popularity system. That doesn't keep people accountable. What it does, it makes people think about how they can avoid the system. That's what it does. Maybe when I'm done here, I'd be like, oh, okay, when we're done, I'm going to send you an email. How would you rate your experience with Dion today? How would you appreciate that? No, you wouldn't. All right, let's get to this. If we are painstaking about this phase of our development, we will be amazed before we are halfway through. Now, there are two trains of thought on this halfway through. Some think it is halfway through the ninth step. Some think it is halfway through the steps. Mine was halfway through the steps. I believe that it's halfway through the steps because I started to experience this, but it might be different for you. Either way, they're going to happen. We are going to know a new freedom and a new happiness. That is the pink cloud. You have pink cloud? Yeah. Did you have it before the ninth step? Yeah. It's one of the very first things that happens. That happens right about the time that the obsession to alcohol is lifted. All right? Because it's new happiness, a new freedom. And that creates the pink cloud because it's new for you. You haven't felt it before. Or you did, but it happened with alcohol the first time you drank, and it kind of brings you back to that spot, right? We will not regret the past nor wish to shut the door on it. Gosh, that's a big one. And that's what is that? Fourth and fifth steps. See, halfway through the steps again. All right. And I do not regret. I do have a little bit of regret, but I do not have blame, shame, guilt from my past anymore. I do have a little bit of regret. It has to do with my children, but it's just enough regret to remind me why I'm doing what I'm doing. So it's actually a healthy regret. I do not live there anymore. I do not ponder the past. Unless it's thinking good things about friends that I had. Then sure. Okay. But I don't regret it. And now, since I'm not embarrassed by my past, now I get to utilize it to help other people. And people, for some reason, they do not give me crap about me to sharing my stuff. And they're probably not going to do it to you either. What is that? That's God. God will keep you safe and protected. I've had some people, my mother-in-law, she will probably never believe that I'm sober, but she's had some bad experiences with alcoholics and AA. So I don't quite blame her. Right? We will comprehend the word serenity and we will know peace. One day you'll just be sitting there in your backyard watching the kids play, and you're going to realize, wait a minute, I'm enjoying myself. Usually right now, I'm wondering how I'm going to get my alcohol. This is nice. Wow. Peaceful. And the kids are running around screaming at the top of their lungs, especially little boys. God. One thing I can't stand about kids is the screaming. It's just so loud and ear piercing. But you get to sit there and enjoy the moment. You didn't get to enjoy the moment when you were drinking. because you were caught up in other bullshit, because you thought only of yourself. You thought only of you. Now you get to watch other people play or do things and you get to enjoy it. It's awesome, man. So you will know peace no matter how far down the scale we have gone. We'll see how our experience can benefit others. I'm going to tell you something, and this is not a challenge. The further you go down, the further you go up. The more bullshit you've been through, the more you can help people. Okay. So I would say in that case, continue challenging yourself on learning new things. Okay. That doesn't mean go out and drink and experience what I experienced. That's not what I mean. No, you can still get the experience without all that shit. You can't. Without the drinking and stuff. Okay. Right. I'm diagnosed with 5 different mental illnesses. See, I don't just help with alcoholism. I help with a lot of different things. Deanna is more than that. See? Now, if you go back to those bedevilments, because these promises are the opposite of the bedevilments. Yeah. So that feeling of uselessness and self-pity will disappear. My self-pity hasn't totally disappeared, but it doesn't have to do with my alcoholism. It has to do with my depression. And I do pretty good with it. I do all right. I certainly don't feel useless today. It's been a while. I still go through it says that feeling of uselessness and self-pity will disappear. I don't quite agree with that. We're human. So what you're going to do is get better at it. In my case, I had to get better at it. Now, for some people, this will happen. Awesome. But they didn't go far down as I did. They didn't go through what I went through. They don't, and that's okay. It all kind of happens differently for us. It doesn't matter how it happened, it's that it did. Actually, it does matter how it happened because then you got to teach other people. So actually, it very much does matter. Sorry. We will lose interest in selfish things and gain interest in our fellows. What I'd like to say is our selfishness changes to good intentions. I'm still very selfish. I'm just selfish about different things now. I'm very, very selfish about my higher power. I'm very selfish about my kids. I care what people think of me, but not to the point where it destroys my day if they think ill of me. Okay. But sure, there are people in my life. For the most part, I really don't care. But there are a lot of people in my life that I care what you think about me. Right. But I don't let it, like here, even there's 3 people here. I care what you think about this right now. Absolutely, I do. Because if it's good and helping you out, then I want to do it more. If it sucks, then I need to find something else to do. That's the reason why. Because I do this, number 1, so I feel useful. Number 2, to help somebody. And if it helps at least one person a day, then it has done its job. But what I don't need is all the likes and loves and the glamour and the pomp and the circumstance and all this other stuff. I don't need that stuff. Being the center of attention for 40 minutes a day is enough. It's the reason I do this. I like being the center of attention. It's okay to be that, but when you understand it, then you get what's called tact. Then you know when to use it. If I was like this all the time, then I'd be interrupting people and I wouldn't be listening to anybody. All right, because I'd always be hot to trot. So we lose interest in selfish things. Self-seeking will slip away. You'll start to do what's right. Oh, there was an extra 20 in the ATM. I'm going to take it to the teller. Hey, walking along, there's a lot of trash right here. I'm going to pick some of it up. It's about doing the right thing. Oh, you know what? This last piece of trash filled up the trash can. I'm going to take out the trash. Hey, that person over there in this meeting is hurting and they're new. and they need a sponsor, I'm going to approach them. I very much find the line, who here is willing to sponsor, selfish. I'm not big on it. I was not taught that way. And I've had a lot of success doing it the way that I'm doing it. And I seek for sponsees. At the moment, I'm not taking any more sponsees. I've got 3. That seems to be enough for Dion. Okay. But I spend a lot of my time helping other people. I'm a closed mouth friend to hundreds of people. All the people that follow me. And I don't even consider them followers. I consider you to be just like me. I really do. There's no difference. So self-seeking will slip away. Our whole attitude and outlook upon life will change. Woo! We get to see the forest for the trees. Grass will turn green. I'm not kidding. Colors come back. Alcohol fucks with your eyes. It takes away colors. All right? And then when you tell your brain over and over and over again that this world is horrible and ugly, then it will be ugly. But when you decide to take a look at the world and its beauty, you're going to find something much different. That's going to lead back to serenity and peace. Yeah. Fear of people and of economic insecurity will leave us. Unless you're on Zoom. Just a little joke. Why? You want to know why I remind everybody about the meeting? You want to know why I did that with WhatsApp? Because I found that most people that go to Zoom meetings have ADHD. That's why I'm seeing. It's true. They're always fucking late. Always. Not always. Unless they're Virgo. Virgos with ADHD still end up being on time. We Virgos don't like being late for anything. It's disrespect to the other person's time. And we don't like if people screw with our time. So we're very, very careful to make sure that we're on time, even for doctor's appointments and shit. Virgos. There's 2 more here that I know of. Are you the same way when it comes to, I have to be on time. It bugs me. Even if being on time is too early. So sometimes I end up somewhere and I'm there a half hour early and stuff. Like when I played softball, I was excited to play. I was a part of something. So fear of people and economic insecurity will leave us. There again, a finality. I'm going through some economic insecurity right now. A lot. I mean, we're so poor, we can't even pay attention. I ain't kidding. We are. So I'm feeling a little economic insecurity right now. Again, am I going to let it run my day? No. It's probably going to get about 10, 15 minutes of my day. Come on, let's call it what. Let's just do what I need to do. Sometimes it's okay to feel okay. Let's say you're angry about something that somebody did to you. And, you got some of that justified anger going on. Give it a time limit. Okay, I could be mad about this as I want for the next 10 minutes, but then I got to do something else. I think that's fair. Because then in your brain, it's like, I gave it its time. We already worked through that for today. We don't need to go back to it. See, you're creating an action in your head when you do that. When you tell your brain, oh, we got 10 minutes. And your brain's going to know when it's been 10 minutes. Now, that may pop up during the day. God, your will, not mine. God, your will, not mine. God, your will, not mine. And see, now we already worked on that. Because, just because I'm going through some economic insecurity doesn't mean, that we don't have. That's when you get inventive. Yes. Right. So, like my wife and I, we don't have much money. We don't have much stuff. Except for stuff that's been accumulated over the years. But It's not really stuff for kids. But, we also have things like Chutes and Ladders, Connect Four, da, da, da. So we encourage our grandkids to use their imagination, and it works. They get more out of that than me feeding them their entertainment. If they're sitting around bored, it's their problem. But probably a different kind of grandpa. Well, I don't know. I do know that I'm a good grandpa, though. You want to know how I know? Because my grandkids absolutely adore me. They're very respectful, too. Yeah, especially the two young girls. Wow. Yeah. All right. We will intuitively know how to handle situations which used to baffle us. There's the Karate Kid portion of the program. We will intuitively know, and you won't know until the situation arises where you need to use the skill. Right? Because now you know how to handle it, and that's exciting for an alcoholic. That leads back to feeling useful. Again, wait, I know how to solve this problem. Yesterday, we were talking about recovery coaches. A recovery coach will help you find your intuitive on how to handle situations. That's what they're good for. Your sponsor. Now, what are some of these situations? Finding a primary care physician, getting your driver's license back. The stuff that AA doesn't cover. Therapy. How to buy groceries, how to cook, how to sew. Does everybody know how to sew? I know how to sew. My wife doesn't, but I do know how to sew. Sure. I can wrap a mean bobbin, man. Not very many people are going to understand what I just said. All right. Y'all know I did LARPing. But you think I just went out and bought clothes? No, we made most of the clothing. We sewed most of the clothing. A lot of it was janky. A lot of it looked like crap. Right? But it was kind of supposed to. Orcs aren't that good at sewing. All right. So we will intuitively know. Intuition. Your intuition is the unsuspecting inner resource you didn't know you had. That's where my higher power lies, is in my intuition. Okay. One more. We will suddenly realize that God is doing for us what we could not do for ourselves. Amber said, I just sewed the shit out of the corner of a pop-up camper. Scott ripped it. Now, did he rip it before or after? And you're going to blame Scott. Scott ripped it, so I fixed it. Scott. Shell says, home economics, do they still have those classes? No, they do not. Not that I know of. I had to use leather gloves and a thimble. That shit was so many layers thick. Yeah. Well, you're talking about canvas. That's a canvas. That stuff's thick. So you need a nice big needle for that one. And gloves. So, and also she knows how to use a sewing machine. See? Yeah, I do. But I don't know that they do home economics anymore. So we suddenly realize God is doing for us what we could not do for ourselves. What is that? Stay away from the hooch. And then it gets bigger. There's more than that. More than that. Okay. Now, why am I not saying much on it? Because that's for you to discover. That's between you and God. Remember, I said I'm very selfish about my higher power. Right? Well, all my kids are back in my life. My grandkids are back in my life. I get along with my mom. I get along with one sister out of the 8 brothers and sisters that I have. That's something. Before, I didn't have that stuff. When I first came into the program, I didn't have 6 people to carry my casket. It would have been my wife. That's it. Now I'm pretty sure I could probably find 6 people to carry my casket. I have a host of friends. I have people in my life that actually fucking care what happens to me. God often presents things to me to take care of for his children. I have the power to save somebody's life. And I take that really, really fucking seriously. You have it too. We all have it. That's why we're bonded. Oh, you're lucky you get to say people. Do you know how fucking hard that is? Yes, you do. It's really hard. We alcoholics, if you don't learn detachment, if you don't learn detachment in the program, you're gonna get hurt a lot because you'll take things personally. Right? You'll have a sponsee, they'll go out, you'll think it's you, and how selfish of you to think that, like you have control over what they can do. You didn't even have control over your own drinking problem, let alone somebody else's. So let's remember where that stuff actually happens. My job is to introduce you to God. That's my job. As a sponsee, my number one job is to help you find a power greater than yourself. It's why the book was written. Was enable you to find a power greater than yourself that will help you work through these steps. So my job is to help you find that. And to let you know what I know about the program. Right? Are these extravagant promises? We think not. They're being fulfilled among us, sometimes quickly, sometimes slowly. They will always materialize if we work for them. Any person that I have seen thoroughly work the program, those promises have come true. Every single person that I've ever worked with or even seen in the program. I didn't even have to work with them for me to see that. You see people in the meetings all the time making these huge progressive steps, and it's really cool to see. And now you get to see it because you get to see the beauty in the world instead of getting jealous that they're making more progress than you at the time, because that's the opposite of that. And you don't do that anymore. See, good job. You didn't even realize you were doing that, did you? You are. So good job. All right. It's going to be it for today. I got some shiznits to take care of. I just don't remember what any of it is. It's Sunday. Laundry day. All right. But 6 more days to football. Well, 6 more days to Bronco football. Because that's all that, honestly, that's all that fucking matters to me. I don't really watch other games. Oh, all right. Thank you all for being here. I appreciate it. I love you. You know I do. Peace out.